Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So yeah, I'll read the Ghazal first in Persian and then we'll talk about it in English, inshallah. زهی حلاوت پنهان در این خلای شکم، مثال چنگ بود آدمی نه بیش و نه کم. چنان که گر شکم چنگ پر شود مثلا، نه ناله آید از آن چنگ پر، نه زیر و نه بم. اگر ز روزه بسوزد دماغ و اشکم تو، ز سوز ناله برآید ز سینه‌ات هر دم. هزار پرده بسوزی به هر دمی زان سوز، هزار پایه برآری به همت و به قدم. شکم تهی شو و می نال همچو نی به نیاز، شکم تهی شو و اسرار گو به سان قلم. چو پر شود شکمت در زمان حشر آرد، به جای عقل تو شیطان به جای کعبه صنم. چو روزه داری اخلاق خوب جمع شوند، به پیش تو چو غلامان و چاکران و حشم. به روزه باش که آن خاتم سلیمان است، مده به دیو تو خاتم مزن تو ملک به هم. وگر ز کف تو شد ملک و لشکرت بگریخت، فراز آید لشکرت بر فراز علم. رسید مائده از آسمان به اهل صیام، به اهتمام دعاهای عیسی مریم. به روزه خوان کرم را تو منتظر می باش، از آنکه خوان کرم به ز شوربای کلم. So Falak John, if you don't mind, can you read the translation, please?
What hidden sweetness there is in this emptiness of the belly. Man is surely like a lute, so no more or no less. For if, for instance, the belly of the lute becomes full, no laminate, high or low, will arise from that full lute. If your brain and belly are on fire through fasting, because of the fire every moment a laminate will arise from your breast. Every moment you will burn 1,000 veils by that fire. You will mount 100 steps with zeal and endeavour. Become empty of belly and weep entreatingly like the reed pipe. Become empty of belly and tell secrets with the reed pen. If your belly is full at the time of concourse, it will bring Satan in place of your reason, an idol in place of the Kaaba. When you keep the fast, good habits gather together before you, like slaves and servants and retinue. Keep the fast, for that is Solomon's ring. Give not the ring to the div, destroy not your kingdom. Even if your kingdom has gone from your hand and your army has fled, your army will rise up, pennants flying above them. The table arrived from heaven to the tents of the fast by the intervention of the prayers of Jesus, son of Mary. In the fast, be expectant of the table of bounty, for the table of bounty is better than the broth of cabbages.
So yeah, let's talk about it verse by verse. The first couplet, مولانا says, زهی حلاوت پنهان در این خلای شکم. What hidden sweetness is when your belly is empty. Because the human being is like a harp, just like the flute. When it's empty, you hear the sweet music. Man is surely like a lute, no more and no less. And then he explains, when the belly of the lute becomes full. I think it's pretty much true about every musical instrument. It's that emptiness that makes the sweet music. The emptiness within. It's like the windows. It's the emptiness that allows the rays of light to enter. It's like the cup. It's the emptiness that allows the wine to be poured or the water to be poured in. But here, Maulana is saying, when the lute becomes full, you will not hear sweet melodies from it. And same it is with the stomach. You hear those lamentations, those prayers when it's empty. When your brain and your belly are on fire because of fasting, then the fire, that's the fire that will arise from your breast. That's lamentation. Not lamentation in the negative sense, but prayer, making a noise, making that communication with Allah. That happens best when the stomach is empty. Yes, Falak.
Those lines reminded me of an advice a scholar once gave us to, if you are going to do ziyarah to Medina, people would just go so high and low to just read. So they take all of the dua books and adhkar and salawat, but his advice is that just go sit there and empty everything. Come in your whole, come in whole and full, and don't do anything. Just wait to receive the anwar from Sayyidina Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Just when you busy yourself with so much and you go there with so much that you want to read and you want to do, so you get somebody would get distracted and would not receive the anwar, the lights coming from the barakah coming from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you touched on, it takes it deeper. So it's not just fasting from food and drinks. It's emptying yourself, your mind, from all those thoughts, of those imaginations, of everything other than Allah ultimately. So the true fast is ultimately banishing all other thoughts. That's the, as Al-Ghazali calls it, the fast of the khawas al-khawas, is to fast from everything other than Allah, to say no to everything other than Allah. So that's the, la ilaha illallah. So you say la to everything else, and then what remains is Allah.
Even some, like when you say la ilaha illallah, one of the traditions is that some tariqas, just like when they say la ilaha, they just lift their heads up as if they're taking away out from their heart everything. And then illallah, when they say Allah, they just bring down their head towards their heart, as if it's only Allah, to fill it up with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the first step is law. The first step is cleansing. So you need to detach yourself from all those thoughts. So the true fast is, Maulana says, at every moment you will burn 1,000 veils. All these veils that separate you from Allah, the veils of your imagination, your ignorance. That fire that arises within you when you fast, that will burn all those veils, 1,000 veils at every moment. And then at every moment, so this is the true fast, you will mount 100 steps with zeal and endeavor. When you're not fasting, I think to some extent we can witness that, right? Things that when we're not fasting seem so difficult. But when we're fasting, we see how much stronger we are than we think we are. So that's the 100 steps at one time. So Maulana says, Shekam tohi shuvu minal, become empty of belly. Empty yourself. Again, deepest meaning, detach yourself. Cleanse your heart of everything else. And then pray. And then just like the reed pipe, weep entreatingly. Nay. The nay, it's interesting because nay in Persian also means no, just la, no. And it's also the reed pipe. Maulana says to his son, if the people ask you what is Maulana's way, what is Maulana's path, tell them it's not eating, not eating and not drinking. And then he paused for a moment and he says, nay, no. Rather it is to die. So ultimately, the complete form of fasting, it starts. The initial stage is nakhordan, the initial stage is not eating and not drinking, but then the ultimate form of fasting is dying, the death of your ego, the death of your nafs. That's the ultimate, saying no to everything other than Allah. That's the ultimate form of fasting. So that's a nay. So become like the reed pipe that has become empty of himself. And that's how he begins the Masnavi. Listen to the reed. So become like the reed that's empty of itself. And become like the reed pen. So the reed pen is also used for writing, for calligraphy. And then you will be able to tell secrets when you're empty. Now, Maulana is talking about the opposite now. When your belly is full, what happens is shaitan will come and replace your aql. And idols will come in your Kaaba. So the Kaaba that has to be pure, that has to be for Allah, idols will come and fill your Kaaba. The Kaaba of your heart has to be pure. It has to be for Allah. But when your belly is full and your mind is full, idols will come. Idols will come, and there will be 100. I don't know. The pagans had 365 idols, but a lot of us have 365,000 idols. We need to purify our hearts. We need to break those idols. And one way to do that, probably as Maulana would say, the greatest way to do that, best way to do that is fasting, is to be empty of belly. And when you're fasting, Maulana says, چون روزه داری اخلاق خوب جمع شود. All good akhlaq, they will come to you. اخلاق خوب جمع شود. So he's talking about the true fast, the fast of the Siddiqeen, the fast of the elect. When you keep that true fast, all good habits will come to you. So at other times, maybe it's hard to be good. You need more effort. But when you're fasting, you'll see it's easier. It's more natural. Those good habits, whether it's charity, whether it's being truthful, whether it's being kind, all of those will follow you. All of those will be like your servants and your retinue. Yes, Falak.
The thought that came to me is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had like, you know, when he says in the Quran, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ, everything, he made everything musakhar for us humans. But then because we've like everything, like we forgot our real purpose why we're here, because these are supposed to be our tools, quote unquote, to help us to facilitate the main goal of our existence, which is worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then when we forgot our main goal, therefore and we looked at those tools as goals in themselves, that's when we became servants to those tools. But then when we are only servants to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything else is our servant. Like just the way it was supposed to be. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ.
Exactly. Keep fasting, because fasting is Sulaiman's ring. And don't give your ring to the thief. Don't let your kingdom, the kingdom of your soul, be destroyed. So there is this story about the ring of Sulaiman, and then the demon that steals the ring and pretends to be Sulaiman. It's not in the Quran, or it's not in the credible sources. It comes in the Qasas al-Anbiya, that kind of thing. But it's famous in literature that a demon steals the ring of Sulaiman and he pretends to be Sulaiman, and then he's defeated later on. But Maulana's take here is symbolic again. So don't give the kingdom of your soul to the devil. It belongs to Allah. Your existence, your being belongs to Allah. You belong to Allah. Don't give it to the devil. And if you've lost your kingdom, if you've done bad things in the past, you've lost your kingdom, your army has fled, don't worry. Because once the banner is raised, they will all come back. Again, all those good habits, all those virtues, they will come back once the banner is raised. So again, for Maulana, fasting is the ring of Sulaiman, and it's also the banner of Sulaiman. It's what brings your army, the army of faith, back. Last time in the Ghazal about Ramadan, he says, Lashkar Iman Rasid, the army of faith has arrived. It's the army. It's the army of faith. So you're not alone. There's the whole army that's with you. And now, next couplet, Maulana is saying this month, it's not about fasting, just about fasting. It's also about feasting. It's also about the tables of heaven. So it's also about the bounty of Allah in this month. Once you're fasting, the prayers of Jesus, son of Mary, as it's in the Quran, Ma'idatan min as-sama, a table from heaven. That table is here. This fasting is not just abstaining. No, the true fasting is, no, you should eat. You should eat and drink. And you should arrive at this banquet, arrive at this table with empty belly so you can eat more. The table of Allah, the food is not bread and water. The food is wisdom. The food is love. The food is understanding. The food that the Prophet says, I stay with my Lord and he feeds me and he gives me to drink. It's the month that you can eat that food and drink that drink. In this month, expect to receive the table of bounty, which is better, far better than what you usually have, the shurbai kalam, the broth of cabbages. What is more important than cabbages is the bounty of Allah that you will receive when you're fasting in this month. Yes, Farak.
Yes, subhanAllah, just the image that comes to my mind is since Ramadan is the month of Quran as well. So as if Quran was there was a hadith that the Quran is like Ma'idatul Rahman, and like you can eat from it, feast from it as much as you can. So subhanAllah, it completes the picture. So Ramadan has the Shahr al-Quran, it's the Ma'idatul Rahman, and the more empty belly, like the more the emptier your belly is, the
more you can take in. Yeah,
take in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, there's another Ghazal. مولانا says, "سقراق معانی را بر معده خالی زن." Drink the cup of wisdom on an empty belly. If you drink something on an empty stomach, it goes straight to your head and straight to your heart. And this is something that, subhanAllah, we can experience. When we are fasting, we might read the same verse that we read before when you're not fasting. But when you're fasting, it really penetrates your being and you have a better connection.
SubhanAllah, yes.
Yeah. So yes.
It just comes to me, SubhanAllah, when Sheikh al-Akbar, Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, when he went to his Sheikha, like I think I read this somewhere, that his Sheikha is known to be very strict and she does not accept new murideen at all. But then he just, I think it was like this, that he just came in and sat, he was not like the young, and he sat on the side or something, and then she was asking for that person who sat on the side, and they were asking, why would you accept him as a murid? He's a young, like, he's young and maybe he doesn't know, and then she said, like, he's the one who came like in his whole, and he was like he came in fully to her, and he emptied out everything else, and he came fully to get from her everything, all the ilm and all the knowledge
Allah.
And everything. That's why she accepted him versus anyone else.
Subhanallah. Yeah, exactly. Emptiness again. Totally.
Yes, exactly.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, the empty cup can be filled. The cup that's already full cannot be filled. And a few times also in relation to fasting, Maulana mentions Sidatna Maryam, the story in the Surah Maryam, when she says, I vowed to fast for Ar-Rahman. But also that emptiness of that detachment. So she represents that detachment from everyone else. And when she detaches from everyone else, أَتَّخَذَتْ مِن دُونِهِمْ حِجَابًا, then that's when the ruh of Allah is sent to her. Jibreel comes to her.
And that's when she received her rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether materialistically, when Sayyidina Zakaria comes to her and أَنَّ لَكِ هَذَا قَالَتْ وَمِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. So she received it all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe inshallah all benefit from this table of bounty.
Ameen, inshallah.